So like I said, you're going to take any one of your designs, and you had to do this, I think 3 or 4 times. Each one had a different emphasis. I'm really not looking for any particular emphasis, whichever one you want to use. But if you do want to add things to here, so some of the first things you can add to get good contrast is that reverse type. To do this, I use the just the rectangle frame tool or just the rectangle tool. Either one will do the same thing. With this tool, you know you can draw off simple rectangles, so I can click and drag. Once it's created, at the very top, here is your fill color, and you can change it to whatever color you want. In our case, I'm going to make it black. Now when I do make something, remember it's on top of everything else. So if I try to select the text as I'm clicking here, it's not going to do it. So I need to send this behind everything that's on there. Y'all remember where to go to change the arrangement of something?
Um, I always like it, but yeah.
You can right click, yeah, it does that too. It's actually under Object. Under Object, and come on, there it goes. There's the arrangement, and we'll send it to the back. Like Nick said, if you hold down Control or if you right click, it also gives you where it should, where is it? There it is, there's the arrangement right there. Go forward or back. Now you can see my text boxes. What's wrong with my text boxes though? Black on black. So I've got to choose my type tool, select my type, and then also at the same top I can change that to white or paper or whatever, and work with that. Oops, didn't have the right thing selected. So that's the easiest, simplest way of adding good contrast for reverse type. Remember, the other thing is look around at the different type styles that you have. And this gives you, of course, a little sample of what it looks like. Look for something that looks like it would be a ranch style font. So obviously, hey, that's a great one to use because the style fits for what you're using. If I wanted to contrast this, what would be a good contrasting style? If this looks like country, what should what doesn't look like country? Let's look at some of the other ones. New York style. What's a good New York style? I'm leaning in close. What about this one right here? Tall and skinny? Maybe something like that. Maybe something thinner. You can play around with it and work on that as well. If you wanted to drop the opacity of an image or even the opacity of a box that you had, so let's say I wanted this guy to be bigger and lower opacity. The same trick I did with my text, I'm holding down Shift and Command. I can click and drag. He becomes bigger. Now he is kind of pixelated, but that's okay for what we're working on. To lower the opacity of it, I've got him selected. At the very top middle, here's that 100%, and you can kind of see the little checkerboard. This is where you can lower the opacity of him and he'll go down as well. Kind of as a rule of thumb, I try to keep things between 20 and 40%, sometimes even 60%. Anything below 20% and it becomes almost imperceivable, it's just really, really ghosted. Anything above 60%, it's almost too opaque. So that's a good range to keep things in, between 20 and 40 in general for what I like to use. And we can move him around. Same thing for your color that you're using. You can drop the opacity right here. Or if it's a solid color, when you go to your color picker, like say I wanted it to be a solid cyan, you can change the tint of it. And the tint will just be a lighter version. Now this won't drop the opacity, so it won't be able to see through it, but it just will be a lighter version of whatever color you had selected. Make sense? All cool? Last thing, if I wanted to add something to here, so I added those little stars or something or whatever, for this project only, for this version, I don't recommend doing it this way. If I'm going to search for an image, let's say I did a star, and we'll go to Google Images. Here's a good black star that I could add. Come on. Oh, there's an even better one. There we go. I'm just going to control click on it. It brings me my pop-up, and I can copy this image. So when I hit copy image, I can go back into InDesign, and I can paste it. Now this image is really, really big, so I'm definitely going to have to scale it down. The easiest way of doing it is to find one of the corners. And what do I hold down to keep everything constrained? And Shift and Control, or excuse me, Shift and Command. Shift and Command. When I click and drag down, it'll get much, much smaller from here as well. And I can place it wherever I need to be into there. When you do a copy and paste, what it's doing is called embedding the image. Literally, it's saving a copy of this image into your file. Now this is good, so you can actually take this file home and work on your computer, and the image will be there automatically. Later on, we'll talk about linking images and making sure that if you have this one image and you wanted to use it over several different pages, you can link to it and save a copy of it. But for this one, all I recommend you do is find whatever picture you want to use, do Control, click, just copy and paste that image into however you want to work with it from there. All cool? Once you've finished, you remember how to save it as a PDF file. There's the presets. Choose the smallest file size, especially if you've got images, and it'll take care of everything else for you. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to finish up the rest of these. I'll give you plenty of time to work on it and to turn those in. I would recommend at least getting your thumbnails done for homework tonight if you wanted to work on something from there. Okay? All right, I'm going to turn your computers back over to you. Let you all get started.